Okay, I'm having a look at question 13 from the Maths Methods 2021 tech-free paper. So the first one has considering the functions f of x equals x squared and g of x equals 4x, and we want to determine the coordinates of the points of intersection of the graphs of the two functions. Now, when we think about those two functions, you probably should have an idea that the x squared has this shape, and the 4x will be a linear coming through 0, 0 with a gradient of 4. So having a rough idea what these functions will look like helps us in part B. So in part A, we just want to find out those intersection points. So we should have one at 0, 0, and we should have one over here, and we're going to try and find out where that is. To be able to solve that, we want to make x squared equal to 4x and solve when they are equal to each other. So taking that 4x over to the other side to be with the x squared, we would then factorize and write x minus 4 equals 0, and that's where we would use our null factor law and say x is equal to 0 or 4, and we already knew the 0. Then we would sub them back into either of those equations to find the y coordinate. So subbing in the 0, we would get 0, 0. Subbing in the 4, we would get 4, 16 for that. Then we want to use our results from that to calculate the area enclosed by those graphs. So we want this section. Now, if you weren't sure what the graphs look like, you would be subtracting one from the other. If you did do that the wrong way around, so obviously we've got the two graphs, so we've got our x squared and our 4x. Now, when we look at that, if you were just subtracting that way, the x squared is that lower one, so you'd actually get a negative. So what we want to do is the integral of the 4x take away the x squared. If you did go through and do it this way, you would end up with a negative answer that would hopefully prompt you that you've done it the wrong way around. Either way, we're going to do our integral. We're going to go between 0 and 4. So when we integrate the 4x, we get 4x squared over 2. Integrating the x squared, we get x cubed over 3, and we're going between 0 and 4. We can simplify that down to 2x squared minus our x cubed on 3 between 0 and 4. So subbing in the 4, we would get 2 lots of 4 squared, and we're taking away 4 to the power of 3 on 3. And then subbing in the 0, we would just get 0 when we subbed it in here, 0 when we subbed it in here. So we're subtracting 0. So we're focusing on this part. 4 squared is 16. 2 lots of 16 gives us 32. Then we're taking away 4 cubed. Now 4 cubed is 64 over 3. Now, if you're not sure about fractions, one way to be able to do this is go, well, we want a denominator of 3 for both of them. So we want to multiply this 32 by 3 to be able to put it over 3 and still have 32. So when we times that by 3, we get 96. And we're doing 96 take away 64. That is going to give us 32 over 3 as our answer. Because this is tech-free, we don't need to get any further than that. 32 over 3 is fine.